House of Representatives to summon National Security Advisor, security chiefs, others over insecurity. NAFDAC arrests 3 hawkers, seizes substandard drugs in Kaduna. Plus, polls close in Pakistan as election hit by violence. Hello and a warm welcome to the live broadcast of NEWSLIVE here on Viewer Television, and my name is NEWSLIVE. Following the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, the Foreign Affairs Minister of the regional body are currently meeting in Abuja, Nigeria. The ministers are also expected to deliberate on the mass protests in Senegal, which followed the postponement of the country's presidential elections. Now, ECOWAS Commission President Dr. Aliou Touré stated that the meeting will consider the notification of withdrawal of the 3 countries and wider implementations. Recall that the 3 military-led West African countries had on January 27th announced their immediate withdrawal from ECOWAS, accusing the body of becoming a threat to its members. The House of Representatives has resolved to conduct an investigative hearing on the non-compliance by banks and financial institutions with the Central Bank of Nigeria's directives on net open position limits. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance on the need for banks to implement CBN's policies on holding excess long foreign exchange and net open position limits, moved at the plenary by Honorable Benjamin Benson. Moving the motion, Benson explained that CBN is saddled with the responsibility of regulating the monetary policies of the country as provided for by the CBN Act.
The House is further concerned that the commercial banks and certain financial institutions in Nigeria usually hold back a large part of foreign exchange that they obtain either through purchase, borrowing, or allocation from the CBN, rather than lending same to their customers with a view to selling it when the exchange rate is high. The House is worried that this speculative activity by commercial banks and certain financial institutions has further exacerbated the harsh economic situation in the country and has led to difficulty by legitimate businesses to obtain foreign exchange for their business transactions.
The House of Representatives has mandated the Committee on Education, Examination Board and Basic Education to interact with the National Examination Council on her planned 2024 promotion examinations for about 1,500 staff at a place vis-a-vis the security and economic situation of the country. This followed the adoption of a motion on matter of urgent public importance moved by Honorable Akim Adeyemi. While moving the motion, Adeyemi said the House is aware that in the past, the examination body has conducted similar promotion examinations for her staff at various zonal regional offices without necessarily making large numbers of staff from different states of the Federation travel and converge at one place for the promotion exercise.
Situation in the country and the economic issue parted out of the citizen, including the staff of National Examination Council NECO, it is perilous to cost about 1,500 staff to travel from different parts of the country to one place in the name of promotion examination, Mr. Speaker. Believe that the examination body, which conducts examination for candidates all over the country, has the capacity to conduct promotion examination for our staff at different states of the Federation. The House do resolve that we mandate the committees on education, examination board, and basic education to interact with the National Examination Council NECO on our plan 2024 promotion examination for about 1,500 staff at place vis-a-vis the security and economic situation of the country.
The House of Representatives have resolved to summon the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police, and heads of all security agencies in the country for an emergency security briefing and strategy meeting. These followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Honorable Dominic Okafor on the alarming state of insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and its environs. The House, while adopting the motion, urged the heads of all security agencies to collaborate among themselves, train and set up special units within their formation to track and clamp down on the criminal elements within and around the territory. Following the motion, the House summoned the Minister of FCT, NEWSLIVE, National Security Advisor and head of all security agencies over rising insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory.
Invite the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the National Security Advisor, and heads of all security agencies for an emergency security briefing and strategy. 2. Mandate the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory to install security cameras in and around the FCT and its environs. Also, to install other security gadgets and equip security personnel with modern security equipment to combat the rising and frightening insecurity within the territory and its environs, including the use of drones. 3rd, mandate heads of all security agencies to urgently collaborate among themselves, train and set up special units with their formations to track and clamp down on the criminal elements within and around the territory. 4th, mandate the security agency to immediately commence the use of the Registered National Education Number (NIN) in their technology to trace and curb insecurity across the country.
The Lagos Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has secured the conviction and sentencing of Victor Adedeji Oniyuku before Justice Chukwuejuku Aneke of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, for internet fraud. Justice Aneke found Victor guilty on the one-count charge brought against him by the EFCC for impersonating one Hartford Sarah Jane to perpetrate online fraud. The convict was arraigned in December 2023 and he pleaded guilty to the offense. The trial judge then adjourned till Wednesday, February 7, 2024 for the review of facts and judgment. The prosecution counsel, Chinenye Okeze, reviewed the facts and urged the court to convict and sentence him accordingly. Now, Justice Aneke drafted, convicted, and sentenced him to 12 months imprisonment with an option of fine of 500,000 naira and 100 hours community service. The judge also ordered the forfeiture of the device recovered from him to the federal government. The United States Center for Disease Control (USCDC) says Nigeria risks an outbreak of vaccines preventable diseases if urgent actions is not taken to close the wide immunization gap. The center noted that Africa's most populous nation currently accounts for the highest burden of unsaturated children globally, with 2.3 million zero-dose children, and warned that outbreaks of polio, measles, and yellow fever are imminent. Zero-dose children are children who are yet to receive any vaccines on the routine schedule. They are measured by the number of children who have not received the first dose of diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccines. The senior public health specialist, immunization and PHC at the Center for Disease Control, Hadley Ikwe, who issued the warning during a press conference, revealed that as of 2022, there were over 19 million zero-dose children worldwide, 58% of which live in just 10 countries. Now, Ikwe noted that Niger and Zamfara states have the highest burden zero-dose local government areas in Nigeria due to insecurity and difficulty in accessing some communities. Now we'll be going on a break, and when NEWSLIVE returns, we'll be looking at the Nigerian Labour Congress has given the federal government notice of a nationwide strike over unmet agreement. We have details of that and more after this break.
Pararam pra reparar, estão ouvindo esse som, pulsando seco no ar, merece nossa atenção. Preparem bem os sensores para poder captar. Parem usinas, motores.
Welcome back, and it's good to know that you are still with us on News Live here on Viewer Television. Before we move forward, let's take a look at our top stories for the evening. House of Representatives to summon National Security Advisor, security chiefs, others over insecurity. So NAFDAC arrests 3 hawkers, seizes substandard drugs in Kaduna. Plus, polls close in Pakistan as election hit by violence. Switching gears, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fined the Department of State Services 5 million naira for the unlawful arrest and detention of an Abuja-based commercial driver, Sanisu Shaibu. The court also ordered the DSS to immediately release the driver who had been in detention since March 2023. The detained driver had, through his lawyer Bala Dakung, dragged the DSS before the court to challenge his detention without trial since his arrest. Dakung alleged that upon his client's arrest, the DSS accused him of possessing firearms for alleged terrorist and has been in DSS custody ever since. The lawyer, however, prayed for his release and 50 million naira compensation for the unlawful detention. Now, delivering judgment on the matter on Thursday, Justice Mobolaji Oluwajon held that the DSS flagrantly flouted Section 35 of the country's constitution, which prohibited detention of any Nigerian beyond a maximum period of 48 hours without an order of the court. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has arrested 3 drug hawkers and seized substandard drugs valued at 250,000 naira in Kaduna. The agency coordinator in the state, Nasiru Mato, made this disclosure in an interview with newsmen in Kaduna. Now, Mato said the exercise was part of ongoing efforts to stamp out drug hawking in the state, adding that drug hawking exposes medicines to severe temperature, humidity, and unfriendly climate conditions. He further disclosed that the agency had intensified surveillance and hunting of self-acclaimed doctors who engage in illegal practice. The agency's coordinator, however, advised consumers to always be wary of the source of medicine. Check for NAFDAC registration number, manufacturing date, expiry date, batch number, name, and full location address of the manufacturer. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have given the federal government notice of a nationwide strike effective in 14 days. Their complaint stems from the failure of the government to implement the 16-point agreement between organized labor, which is NLC and TUC, and the federal government on October 2nd, 2023. The leaders of the NLC and TUC have expressed concern that despite the diligent effort of organized labor to promote harmony in the workplace, the government appears unaffected by the widespread suffering and hardship in the country. The NLC and TUC lament that it is regrettable that the unions are compelled to resort to such measure, but the persistent neglect of the welfare of citizens and Nigerian workers and the massive hardship leave it with no choice. The governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, says his administration will end the lingering conflict between farmers and herders in the state. The governor stated this during the inauguration of 3 committees at the State Government House chambers in Maiduguri. The committees include the reconstruction and resettlement of displaced persons from neighboring Bama local government, another committee to investigate the root causes of farmers and herders crisis, and a committee on maintenance and installation of street lights in Maiduguri Metropolis and Jere local government. Now, Governor Zulum charged the committees on farmer-herder conflicts to identify cattle grazing routes and prefer solutions that will avert future
important for us to note this very important thing. And then most especially also the cattle routes that hitherto exist in Borno State is also very important. We have no business in allowing our animals going to other states thereby, causing havoc to our neighboring states and arresting them and all such kind of things. And then the grazing reserves are also very important. We can document them and then ensure that people will do also ranching in the grazing reserves. Borno State, before them, has the highest number of livestock in the country. But as a result of the insurgency, the numbers of our livestock have diminished. There's the need for us to now see how we regain our lost glory.
We thank you most sincerely for finding us worthy for this assignment. And we want to assure you that we will put in our utmost best to achieve desired targets. Thank you very much, sir.
Members of the Kaduna State House of Assembly have unanimously nominated Yusuf Liman, member representing Makera State Constituency, as the 8th Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly. This comes following his victory at the rerun elections. Now, Liman, who is the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, polled 18,608 votes to defeat his closest opponent and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Solomon Katuka, who scored 17,404 to come second.
With hope and optimism for the journey that lies ahead, let us march forward together, hand in hand, toward a future filled with prosperity, peace and progress for all people of our dear state.
Following his emergence as the State House of Assembly Speaker, the member representing Makera constituency says their electoral mandate remains a priority upon resumption in office.
Other thing, without security, you yourself will not be here. So we are trying to prioritize what's supposed to be, what we promise our electorate, so that they should be secured and have a comfortable stay in our dear state. I'm overwhelmed because if you look at the election time, it's a peaceful, free and fair election. So I have no measures, I have no words to thank them, except to thank my Creator to give me the strength, the wisdom to make sure I fulfill all the promises I made to them.
The member representing Chukun State Constituency, Jesse Tanko, member representing Kudan State Constituency, Nura Abdul Karim, and Haruna Barnabas, member representing Chawai State Constituency, were also present to swear the oath of allegiance at the State House of Assembly following their victory. The Garrison Commander, 82nd Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Murtala Abu, has lauded the federal government and MTN for funding the reconstruction of the Enugu-Onitsha dual carriageway. Abu made the commendation in Enugu during a meeting with MTN Crown Crest Global Engineers, CCGE, Community Liaison Initiative, CLI, team led by Chairman Principal Chief Chris Okoye. The commander praised the federal government for coming up with such a novel scheme to introducing smart road infrastructure and thanked MTN for its commitment towards the support and delivering a world standard road for the good of Nigerians. He said that the challenges with a smart road included indiscipline by road users and not having enough vehicles for patrols. The commander disclosed that roadblocks were tactically located in areas prone to armed robbery and kidnapping. You're still watching News Live. Up next, we'll be looking at business and international news. Do stay tuned. And on business, the Nigerian interbank settlement system disclosed that cashless transactions in the country rose to 611.03 trillion naira in 2023. It said the payments grew by 57.55% year-on-year from 395.38 trillion naira in 2022. The NIBSS instant payment is an account number-based online real-time interbank payment solution developed in the year 2011. It is the Nigerian financial industry's fund transfer platform that guarantees instant value to the beneficiary. An analysis of data from the Nigerian interbank settlement system showed that electronic payment channels were used 11.05 billion times in 2023, a 75.96% increase from the 6.28 billion times they were used in the prior year. This showed that the total value of instant payment in 2023 was 600.36 trillion naira and point of sale transaction was 10.7 trillion naira and relied upon for 1.38 billion times. Now, Nigeria's one-year treasury bill was oversubscribed by 300% during the primary market auction by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And results from the auction showed that the one-year T-bill was the toast of investors who offered 1.87 trillion naira for the 600 billion naira on offer, out of which 908.75 billion naira was allotted with stop rates of 19%. Now, investors bid between 13% and 29.9% as interest rates. The auction was aimed at rolling over maturing Nigerian treasury bills worth 1 trillion naira. The auction covered maturities across three different tenures: 91-day with 200 billion naira on offer, 182-day with another 200 billion naira, and 364-day had the highest treasury bill on offer at 600 billion naira. At the end of the auction, the 91-day bill received 39.90 billion naira, offered, all of which were sold. The 182-day bill got 76.83 billion naira subscription, out of which 51.35 billion naira was allotted. Commenting on the day's auction, the managing director of the Auto Stephen Asset Management, Tunde Omolegbe, said that the performance of the one-year bills showed that investors had confidence in the current government and the reforms it had embarked on. Asset Management Group United Capital Group has expressed support for the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to collaborate with stakeholders on future intervention programs. The firm stated these in a flash note it published following an interview of the CBN Governor Dr. Olayemi Cardoso by Newsman. The CBN Governor stated that future interventions of the Apex Bank will involve stakeholders and players with proven experience. It also expressed an anticipation of a modest improvement in the valuation of the Naira consequent on the effective implementation of the CBN's reforms. Now, Cardoso noted that he was under no illusions that interventions were necessary in Nigeria given the land mass and the population of the country. He, however, stated that the country could no longer afford a failed intervention program. It will be recalled as of October 2022, about 9 trillion naira had been released as intervention funds by the Apex Bank. The Association of Masters Bakers and the Caterers of Nigeria, AMBCN, is threatening to halt its services in March if the federal government fails to meet its demand. The Bakers Association has in the past 2 years been calling on the government to address the skyrocketing process of baking materials, which is forcing lots of its members to shut down operations, thus leading to job loss in the industry. The association, in a statement signed by Mansur Umar, National President, and Jude Okafor, National Secretary of AMBCN, has given directive to bakers in all states of the Federation, including the FCT, to stage a protest march in their various states' government houses to hand over a document containing their demands. It called on the government to intervene by providing its members with palliatives promised to the sector since 2020 and open up importation of sugar, which is associated, noted that the monopoly of the 3 major importers is causing untold hardship for Nigerians. And away from Nigeria, at least 7 officers were killed in 2 separate attacks targeting election security details, and officials reported a string of minor blasts in southwestern Balochistan province that wounded 2 people. Now, pollsters predicted a low turnout from the country's 128 million eligible voters following a lackluster campaign overshadowed by the jailing of former Prime Minister Imran Khan and the hobbling of his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI party by the military-led establishment. The Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN is expected to win the most seats in Thursday's vote, with analysts saying its 74-year-old founder Nawaz Sharif has won the blessing of the generals. Adding to the concerns about the integrity of the vote, authorities announced just before polls opened that they had suspended mobile telephone services across the country to maintain law and order after 2 blasts on Wednesday that killed 28 people. At least 13 Sudanese asylum seekers have died after their boat capsized off the coast of Tunisia. A Tunisian judicial official said 27 people were still missing after their boat sank on Wednesday, having set off from Jebiniana, a town near the Mediterranean port city. The boat was carrying 42 people, all of them Sudanese, and 2 people were rescued, said Farid Ben Ajah, a court spokesman in the coastal Tunisian city of Monastir. The asylum seekers were likely exploited in a human trafficking case or in the formation of a criminal group to reach Europe illegally, Farid said, adding that an investigation was underway. The boat was fragile and hastily made with metal scraps, according to the investigation's initial findings. All 42 people on the boat were asylum seekers registered with the United Nations Refugee Agency and were fleeing war-torn Sudan. Now, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have accused the United States of interfering in their country's affairs during a telephone call, the Kremlin said. Now, Xi and Putin announced the U.S. policy of interfering in the internal affairs of other states during an hour-long call. Now, Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said that the leaders of the two countries realized that the U.S. is practically implementing a policy of double containment towards both Russia and China. The West has viewed Moscow and Beijing, both of whom are seeking to expand their global influence, with increased anxiety over the past 2 years as they ramp up ties in trades and defense. Moscow has looked to Beijing as a crucial economic lifeline since the West hit Russia with unprecedented sanctions over its military assault on Ukraine. And on entertainment, Nigerian singer Ahmed Olalade, popularly known as Asake, has won the Best African Artist of the Year at the 2024 Mobile Awards held in Sheffield, United Kingdom. The Mr. Money crooner defeated his compatriots Davido, Ira Star, Rema, Grammy-winning South African singer Tyler, and others to clinch the award. Asake now joins Tubaba, D'banj, Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy on the list of Nigerians who have won Best African Act at the Mobile Awards. Meanwhile, another Nigerian singer, Limo Blaze, won the Best Gospel Act at the award ceremony. Similarly, British Nigerian rapper Tunde won the Best New Artist Award. Also, Drake and 21 Savage were the joint winners of the Best International Act Awards, while Soul to Soul was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, famous American rapper Kanye West has included Lagos to the list of countries he will be touring in 2024 and 2025. The singer made the announcement in a post on his official Instagram story on Wednesday. Now, West, who is set for 3 installments of the release of his new album Vultures in collaboration with T.Y. Dolla $ign, had shared the touring lineup list. The post outlined Echo Energy City in Lagos, Nigeria for December 14th, 2024 and Nyayo International Stadium in Nairobi, Kenya for December 7th, 2024. Now, this will be the second time that Kanye West will be performing in Lagos, his first being the 2007 Star Mega Jam. The American rapper will start his world tour on June 22nd, 2024 in Toronto, Canada, and continue across the US until August, when it will move to Mexico, Spain, Egypt, and United Kingdom and United Arab Emirates before touching down in Kenya and Nigeria in December. Nigerian cinemas grossed more than 7.2 billion naira in 2023 from over 2.6 million admissions, with Nollywood averaging a 39% market share, according to a new report. The earnings are over 416 million naira more than 2022, with a 7% year-on-year increase in market share. However, while 2022 gross was earned from 64 locations, there was a total of 70 locations in 2023, according to data insight from the industry, a journal by Film Insight Publications in Nollywood. Over 14% of the total gross was earned by Funke Akindele, A Tribe Called Judah, which has become the first Nollywood film to hit 1 billion naira in the cinema. The journal noted that the revenue growth, mostly hinged on increased ticket prices, is not happening at the same pace as admissions growth, which is still significantly low despite the success of A Tribe Called Judah. Akindele's previous film, Omo Ghetto, The Saga 2020, currently holds the record for the most admissions recorded for a Nollywood film. And that's all on NEWSLIVE, but before we go, let's take a look at our top stories for the evening. House of Representatives to summon National Security Advisor, security chiefs, others over insecurity. NAFDAC arrests three hawkers, seize substandard drugs in Kaduna. Polls close in Pakistan as election hit by violence. Well, many thanks for watching. My name is StarTimesLiving. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.